According to the United Nations, climate change is the long-term shift in temperatures and weather patterns. The impact of climate change has been present and felt since the 18th century, mainly due to human activities. As years pass by, the risk of climate change is continuously increasing. Intense heat waves, water shortage, extinction of animals, and flooding will be much worse, as said by researchers. This global issue has been on the table for a long period of time, and it affects more and more sectors every day. Different organizations are trying to make a step towards making a change in the environment, wanting to lessen the impact of climate change in the world. Based on the 2017 World Risk Report, the Philippines is the third most vulnerable country to climate change. Considering the country's economic growth and development, the impact of climate change is extreme in that it results in poverty, economic losses, a threat to food security, pollution, water shortage, flooding, loss of a home to indigenous people, and various health risks. Moreover, it also affects different sectors such as the agricultural sector, economic sector, and health sector. Taking into account the location of the Philippines in the globe, it is one of the world's most typhoon-prone regions, which explains the rapid increase of sea level compared to the global average. The weather authorities also recorded numerous rainfall throughout the year, which not only causes landslides but also it has a certain effect on agriculture. Too much rainfall can reduce the nutrients in crops where the chance of plant recovery is slim. Aside from that, an increasing amount of rainfall can cause floods that pose a risk to water quality. As water quality worsens, it affects the water supply distributed, which is the main cause of water shortage. The events mentioned are just a glimpse of the climate change situation in the Philippines. Water has been a significant part of the daily lives of every Filipino. Its notable uses are evidence to say that without water, life will be hard as everything is connected to it. The water that people utilize comes from water resources such as surface water and groundwater. According to research conducted by Edward Lapong and Masayuki Fujihara, agriculture has the highest percentage distribution both in surface and groundwater. It is then followed by the industrial and domestic sectors. From this, it can be concluded that water also plays an important role in the different sectors in the country. However, certain studies show that despite having an abundant water resource, shortage of water is still occurring.
The government should be able to implement the contingency plan on water shortage and supply. In the next few years, the long term, the government should be able to align the existing policies such as the disaster risk reduction and management law and the climate change law to be able to for it to be implemented at the local level more efficiently and to be able to mitigate potential impacts of water crisis.
In the Philippines, specifically in Luzon, we have around 11 dams. These are the Magat Dam, Ambuklao Dam, Binga Dam, San Roque Dam, Pantabangan Dam, Angat Dam, Ipo Dam, La Mesa Dam, Wawa Dam, Kaliraya and Lumot Dam, and the Laiban Dam. From the dams previously cited, Angat, Ipo, and La Mesa dams are the main sources of water supply in Metro Manila and its nearby provinces. Water from these dams are converted by the La Mesa and Balara treatment plants into clean and potable water. However, even though it might seem that we have plenty of dams, water shortages can still be felt. The water shortages we are experiencing are due to various situations that affect the availability of water resources to us. In the recent report, the level of the Angat Dam is currently below its normal level. The Pag-asa has already given their warning that the level of Angat Dam could decrease to less than minimum operating level of 180 meters above sea level by the mid of May. Water pollution is clearly visible in the country and must be prevented from worsening. With the rapid urbanization and industrialization, along with poor sewage planning, water pollution continues to spread and destroys the livelihood of Filipinos. According to the Water Environment Partnership in Asia, water pollution costs the Philippines of around $1.3 billion annually. Rivers around Metro Manila are heavily polluted. A report from Oxford University mentioned that the Pasig River alone contributed 6.43% of total ocean plastics. 21% of the pollution from Pasig River goes to Manila Bay and 70% comes from households. Manila Bay continuously faces threats from different factors that lead to a significant degradation of the ecosystems and biodiversity, which affects the living things around the bay.
Climate change is making available water resources much more erratic. According to the Center for Climate and Energy Solutions, warmer temperatures enhance evaporation, which reduces surface water and dries out soils and vegetation. Global experts have been sounding the alarm for decades that the world will face deprivation of its most water resources drastically. As a result, the quantity and quality of water are affected, in which areas around the world are experiencing more frequent and severe droughts. Subtropical areas such as Australia and the southern United States are expected to warm and suffer more. The reservoir in the United States of America, Lake Mead, is full at a sea level elevation of 1,220 feet. Unfortunately, it is down around 1,080 feet today. Once the Lake Mead decreases 5 more feet, it will go into shortages and wouldn't be able to take additional water out of the lake. Moreover, communities across North Africa, South Africa, and Asia are constantly fighting a daily battle. Intense heat waves are killing thousands of people due to prolonged droughts. For instance, only 30% of the population in Jakarta is connected to the official water system. As a result, people in Jakarta consider the search for clean water as a full-time job in which they make profit of $35. This shifting balance was a threat for water manager in simultaneously meeting the needs of the growing communities, sensitive ecosystems, farmers, ranchers, energy producers, and manufacturers. As early as 2025, experts say that half of the world's population will be living in places where there is no enough water. Dwindling access to water is triggering migrations in many countries. It is estimated that by 2040, most of the world won't have enough water to keep up with the demand all year long. Thus, water resource insecurity is a global challenge, as the number of water-stressed areas worldwide is projected to increase. Economic shocks, health-related concerns, and water-related conflicts that would greatly impact the society.
With all the evidence and facts given earlier, why are there still people believing it's not real? Multiple peer-reviewed studies have been done by different scientific associations proving that climate change is happening and is evident in our daily lives. But people's views are still divided on the issue of climate change, on its causes and importance. According to a survey done by Pew Research Center, division among people's opinions on climate change starts with their views on the causes of climate change. The survey shows that almost half of the respondents agree that climate change is due to human activities, but there is this small percentage of people believing that there is no evidence of climate change. But with a little bit of research, studies and proofs of the climate changing can be seen. Multiple articles from reliable sources are first to come up if you search for evidence of climate change. This evidence mainly shows how climate change impacts our water resources. According to Manolal, most of the climate change impacts come down to water. Climate change's effects can mainly be seen on water supply, demand, and quality. Another article states that with climate change, floods and droughts are getting more extreme and frequent, affecting people's access to clean and safe water. Just from these articles, it can be concluded that there are multiple reliable sources showing evidence of climate change and its impacts, specifically on the water resources from all over the world.
Understanding the importance of life forms, aside from ours, is crucial in fathoming the needs to take care of them. We must take note that in abusing our water resources, we too disturb the ecosystem that exists within it. With this, we must pursue and promote healthier and more efficient ways in harvesting from our waters. The following are ways to overcome this problem based on Laudato Si.
If we can overcome individualism, we will truly be able to develop a different lifestyle and bring about significant changes in society.
Greater investment needs to be made in research aimed at understanding more fully the functioning of ecosystems and adequately analyzing the different variables associated with any significant modifications of the environment.
When the media and the digital world become omnipresent, their influence can stop people from learning how to live wisely, to think deeply, and to love generously. In this context, the great sages of the past John is the risk of going unheard amid the noise and distractions of an information overload. Efforts need to be made to help these media become sources of a new cultural progress for humanity and not a threat to our deepest reaches.
We do need to slow down and look at reality in a different way, to appropriate the positive and sustainable progress which has been made, but also to recover the values and the great goals swept by our unrestrained delusions of grandeur.
Our world has a great social debt towards the poor who lacks access to drinking water, because they are denied the right to a life consistent with their inalienable dignity. This debt can be paid partially by an increase in funding to provide clean water and sanitary service among the poor. Climate change is indeed real and happening, if you haven't realized it already. The world continues to degrade as each day goes by, and every trash thrown in the wrong place, every healthy tree cut, and every animal meaninglessly killed contributes to it. You may think I'm not contributing to any of those, so why should I be guilty? But what if I tell you that in doing nothing about them, you also become part of the problem? This issue can easily be overlooked as something superficial or something that will most likely take its toll long after our demise.
But must we wait for catastrophic events to occur for us to grasp it fully?
We are not
Responsible for
Climate change.
But our ignorance